Welcome back to Optimal Play. It is the end of our Scarlet Keys marathon. I'm still Brandon.
I'm still Kyle somehow.
Steven's missing. He didn't come back to rejoin us.
No, he's in the
for
pool.
the last couple videos.
He's been in the pool for the last 3 weeks.
Oh, it's still in the pool. That explains a lot. Yeah. But we have been through all 5 classes. I feel like the box so far has been kind of hit or miss.
Yeah.
Like, maybe even more miss than
miss
hits.
than hit.
Yeah, I've been a little bit just whelmed on the Scarlet Keys in general. But the neutral cards promise to be more interesting than usual, at least.
That is true. It's something new that we haven't seen in 4 years.
Yeah, a neutral investigator.
Oh, shoot.
And the last one of these was super good, as you recall. So I'm excited.
So, on a scale from Lola to normal investigator, where do you think Charlie Kane is going to fall?
I'm hoping that he's at least closer to normal investigator than Lola.
Alright, let's find out.
I think that I have thrown it to you or Steven for every investigator so far, so I'm going to take this one.
Take it.
Here we go. Charlie Kane, the politician. He's got 1 willpower, 1 intellect, 1 combat. So you know his last stat's got to be good.
8?
His agility is 1.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Okay. A good start.
Promising better than Lola already.
You have 3 additional ally slots.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. He's got 3 charismas. That's more than anyone else can even spend experience on. And then, as a fast ability, during a skill test you are performing, exhaust an ally asset you control. For this test, you get +1 skill value plus an additional +1. That's a funny sentence. Plus an additional +1.
Yep.
For each skill icon that ally asset has that matches this test's type.
Oh.
And as an Elder Sign effect +3, which is that the highest flat Elder Sign effect we've seen?
No.
I don't know that I've seen higher than +3.
I'm going to say no.
Fair. Ready an ally asset at your location. It can be arranged. It's just a matter of acceptable terms. And I think Lola has this too. He has 6 and 6 stats, implying that he's really good, and so he needed lower health and sanity to compensate. We'll see.
We will see.
And then, let's get right to his deck building, because he's a neutral investigator, so that is sure to be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
His deck size is 30. Then it says class choices, colon. I don't know that that's a subject we've ever seen before, right?
Like a
header,
new header.
At deck create, or maybe it's not. What about the ones that can choose one off class? Nope, they say secondary class choice. Weird. Okay. Anyway, class choices at deck creation. Choose 2 classes, and then it makes sure we know the classes are Guardian, Seeker, Rogue, Mystic, or Survivor. Lists them out on here for us.
That's nice.
So if the game ever adds a 6th class, I guess that one's not eligible.
I'm sure that's like right in the back pocket for the game. New class, guys.
Yeah. That's for the Emerald Hammers. I don't know. Deck building options. Ally cards level 0 to 5. Neutral cards level 0 to 5. And then cards from your chosen classes level 0 to 2. And deck building requirements are that you include his 2 signature cards and a random basic weakness. So nothing weird there. Okay, how do you feel about building a deck where pretty much your only leveled up cards are your allies?
Good.
Yeah?
Allies are strong.
They are strong, and you can play a lot of them.
Yep.
But they...
So
I feel like they're mostly...
4 slots for allies, day 1, right?
Yes.
And there are like a decent amount of allies, especially in the higher levels, once you get there, that have +1 to 2 different stats.
Yes. I think you'd probably rather play allies that are +2 to a stat.
That doesn't exist. No, I'm saying
What?
passive boost.
Oh, passive boost. Oh, right. I thought you were talking about the icons on them.
No, but I'm saying like...
Which we'll circle back to that.
Yeah. But like for like a Lola Santiago, she will give you a plus, intellect and agility, and then also has 2 of each pip on her. So that's like a +3, +4 to that stat once per round.
Sure. Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like in general, like, allies are good, but them being the only things you can level up to 5, like, you don't... I don't know. They're already good at lower levels, so if those are the only high-level cards you can take, you're like, well, you're just upgrading your good cards into other good cards instead of upgrading your bad cards into good cards.
What bad cards?
You're right. I don't know. So I don't know. His deck building, and I have this issue with Lola too is that when you're limited on what you can, when you have almost no options or no options in some cases to take the high level cards, like that's just a hit to fun factor that I feel. Right?
But
like,
you can take any ally in the game. There are so many high level allies out there.
But it's like there's all these fun customizable cards. He can take all of them and not level any of them up to their max potential. Right.
I guess if you're gonna nitpick.
I don't know. I don't love his deck building, but certainly back to how he uses the allies. So he has garbage tier stats that then he exhausts his allies, and every single ally, even if they don't match, they can be exhausted for a +1. And then if they do have matching skill icons, it's almost like you've committed those icons as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's really cool.
And I think that the point needs to be made that if you had all 4 allies out, which hopefully you do as Charlie at this point, which also, Charlie, one of his classes is rogue all the time, right? To just get money. I mean, we'll see what his signatures are.
You're just saying because allies are expensive?
Yeah, allies are expensive, and money is good.
Yeah, that's valid.
But we'll see, obviously, what his signatures are. But I think the really cool thing is, it says, during a skill test you're performing, exhaust an ally, blah, blah, blah. That does not say limit once per test.
No.
So if you're only taking 1 or 2 tests per round and you have 4 allies out, you're going to be getting like +3, 4, 5, 6.
He can blow up 1 test per round.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Easy.
And I was going to say, kind of the flip side of that, though, is that he is, if you build him this way, he can be very well-rounded. He can have, if you can get a double icon of each stat in play or something. And there's, as you mentioned, lots of allies have stat boosts. So maybe once he has 4 allies in play, he has 2s and 3s across the board anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's boosting them. Then he can do anything, but he can do each thing once per round.
Yeah.
Right? Like, he's not good at doing a 3 attack round.
Sure. Yeah, he's got to evade, attack, and then investigate.
Yeah. Kind of thing, which is interesting.
Yeah.
could get hard to work with. But all in all, I think he's very cool.
Very cool.
And I'm interested to see his signature card.
Me too. Let me talk about it. His signature is Bonnie Walsh, the loyal assistant. Wow. Okay, well, right out of the gate, she is a 3-cost asset with 2 wild icons. So she is an ally that is a +3 to anything when she exhausts.
Yep.
Pretty good.
Yeah. And I'm
really
looking at the text already, but it seems like she knows this about herself.
Oh, okay. Well, let's find out. So she is ally, civic, and assistant traded. As a reaction, after you exhaust Bonnie Walsh, ready another ally asset you control. Limit once per round.
Yeah.
Damn.
And then because Charlie's ability is not once per test, you could immediately use that asset. You could, right? Am I right here? You could, if you only have Bonnie and 1 other ally in play, you can use that ally. Use Bonnie, use that ally again.
Yep, definitely. And her flavor text is, "Don't forget, you have a 9 p.m. appointment with Mr. Sanford. Shall I book your usual table at La Bella Luna? Also, you bought me a wristwatch for my birthday. Thank you very much."
It's a very good assistance line.
Yep. Yeah. Also, you bought me a wristwatch.
Yeah.
That's so funny. 2 and 2, health and sanity takes up the ally slot.
Yeah, it's just a very good kind of no other twists like card to lean into his stat situation, right?
Wasn't there a card we panned earlier in some video that was like ready an asset? Something about readying an asset.
I mean, the Raven Quill readies like any other asset than the one it was attached to, but I don't really see Charlie playing a bunch of tomes and attaching the quill to them.
No. Come on, you can ready Bonnie.
I look forward to your library owner, Charlie Kane.
I mean, he's a man of distinguished taste.
Sure. Yeah. But he also feels the burden of leadership, Kyle.
Classic politician.
I know, right?
Oh, so burdened.
That's his signature weakness. It is a flaw, and it says, Revelation, if you control no ally assets, shuffle it back into your deck. Otherwise, for each ally asset you control, either exhaust it or deal it 1 direct damage and 1 direct horror. I tell myself it was for the greater good. Was it Bonnie? She is still around to talk to because she has 2 and 2 soak, so she can survive this.
Wow.
Yeah, this is fine. I actually don't think, unlike the last neutral investigator, who's at least in the pre-recent taboo list state, that just had a crippling weakness, a weakness that rendered pretty much the whole investigator unplayable. This one seems fine. This one seems fairly gentle. Yeah. It kind of shuts down your turn, but so do weaknesses that take 2 actions to clear.
Yeah, exactly. And this one does not do that, which I think is really important.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it doesn't take away your actions. It just means you better avoid taking tests if all your allies are locked down.
And I think that's fine, probably for the most part.
Yeah. I think that this is... So I'm still...
Yeah.
I'm not sure whether he's any good. I think he seems fun. And I think that he is a way better neutral investigator design than Lola was.
Agreed. I think he's good. I think he's going to take a long time to get going, though, in any given scenario.
True. Setup is going to be a beast.
Big beast for Charlie.
He's got to not only afford the allies, spend the time playing them, but to get 4 allies in play, you probably need to draw a bunch of cards. Right?
I mean, I think you load his deck with allies.
Yeah, you're probably running like 10 or 12 allies.
Yeah, 100%.
But still, you're probably not going to have 4 that you're happy about in your opening hand. Probably.
No, and you're almost definitely not going to be able to afford them in your opening hand.
What was the, and maybe he can, I guess he could play it if he chooses Rogue. There was the, I can't remember the exact name of the card, but the Rogue card that was about embezzlement, and it lets you give players starting resources for the next scenario of the campaign.
Yeah.
I loved that card. Charlie would love to have some embezzled funds.
I mean, and it's so perfect for the politician to have some embezzled funds.
It really is, yeah. So that card, whether it's in Charlie's deck or another player's deck in a campaign with Charlie, I think
he's gonna be hunting for the embezzled funds.
That's a card to consider.
That's very funny.
Super cool. I think maybe there will never be another neutral investigator. It had been like 5 years or whatever, but I think that building around a very staple card trait, and in this case it's a trait, right? Because it's allies, but that's also a slot. Yeah. Like it's something that's in every deck. Mm-hmm. Like I could see another neutral investigator that it revolves around events. Like you're going to run 24 events when you play them.
Yeah.
And I think that that's a good way to approach it, rather than Lola was, hey, enjoy playing every card in the game, but here's all these downsides. Yeah. You have no power whatsoever. You just have strong deck building and downsides.
Yep.
And he has upsides because he can get his stats to 9 pretty easily for one test.
Yeah, definitely. No, it's cool. I'm a big fan. I'm excited to build him. I'm a little intimidated to build him, but I'm excited.
Yep. And then all these, this small handful of neutral cards we have left to talk about, he can run them all because he can run neutral cards up to level 5.
So unique.
Yeah, so why don't you tell us about the tool belt?
I would love to. The tool belt is item and clothing traded. Again, you're saying we get a lot of clothing. It is a 2-cost asset that takes up the body slot. Each attached asset takes up no slot. Each attached asset takes up no slots, and its text box is treated as if it were blank, except for traits. Interesting. Okay. As a free action, exhaust tool belt. Choose one. Attach a tool asset in your play area to tool belt. Switch a tool asset in play with an attached asset, or detach an asset. Interesting.
So any number of tools can be stored on here to no longer take up their slot.
Yep.
Right.
Mm-hmm. But then their text box are blank, obviously.
Yeah. So you're putting them away for a while.
Yeah.
So it's you play a fingerprint kit. You only need one use of it, and wish you could play other hand slot cards without wasting the rest. Put it in your tool belt for a while. Pull it back out.
This is cool.
I think this is great.
This is really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great for essentially it gets rid of the need for magnifying glass level 1.
Right.
Because you can just stuff it in your tool belt until you're ready to investigate again.
Yeah. I'm a little sad that it makes the text box completely blank, instead of just saying you can't use abilities on it, because that means things like, actually I don't know off the top of my head if the Hawkeye folding camera was a tool, but definitely the dissection tools or dissection kit was. Mm-hmm. And I wish you could charge those up, get their passive benefits, and then put them in your tool belt. Right?
Yeah, that would be broken.
It would, I guess. Although
you're like, hey, this thing needs to sit in your hands to be good. Yeah, you don't need to do that anymore.
I'm curious, if you because we saw several tools that get evidence tokens.
Mm-hmm.
Are those still evidence tokens while their text box is blank? Can Daryl have a tool belt and then still spend evidence off of the things in it?
Yes, because evidence tokens aren't... Well, I mean, I'm not saying yes so conclusively, but evidence tokens seem like they're not just a token marked by a resource and the card gives it evidence.
Yeah, now I'm worried, and I've got to think the intent. What I said, like the standard intent of this card is that you can put a half-used fingerprint kit in it and pull it back out later. But the like cards can only have tokens of the types that they have uses of on them. Like when a card loses the word uses.
Is that true?
Yes. Like you can't move a charge onto a card that doesn't have uses charges.
Sure, but
so when the card loses uses charges because its text box has a blank, do the tokens just sit there, or do they have to be discarded?
I think they have to sit there because evidence isn't a natural. Like, I mean, maybe there's a explanation in the rulebook about evidence, but
there's not.
Okay, well then Daryl has a elder sign effect that says put evidence on any card you control.
But the rules of the game say it would have to be a card that uses evidence. But he starts with his camera. He's always going to have one.
Is that right?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure you can't just put like supplies onto a card that doesn't have uses supplies on it. I think. I
don't know. I imagine the intent is you can put a fingerprint kit away and pull it back out.
Me too. Yeah. But so then my question is, A, do the counters on it stay around, and then B, if they do stay around, are they still defined, or do they just become generic counters? Right? Like similarly, I don't think a tool ever has secrets on it, but if a tool has secrets on it and it's in your tool belt, can you use Ariadne's Twine to move those secrets around, or are they no longer defined as secrets? I have lots of rules questions about this card.
Well, I'm sure the community is yelling at us right now.
For sure, yeah. Especially considering that this is coming out like week 6 after the Scarlet Keys box comes out. On
normal people have already looked at these many times.
And they've asked their rules questions, and I'm sure this is known by... Okay, so we can move on, but I'm confused.
Great. Yeah. It's the state I like you the best.
That explains a lot. Okay, next card is Refine. A 3-cost neutral event that is a supply, and it is a double. It is double traded. I don't think I've ever seen double before.
Me neither.
A trait. Yeah. As an additional cost to play Refine, spend an action. Immediately mark a checkbox on an upgrade sheet for a customizable card you own, even if it's not in play. Max once per game for each investigator. I was saying, I think off camera between talking about Seeker and neutral, that I was hoping there would be a neutral card that helped with the customizable cards a little bit.
Found it.
Yeah, I was envisioning a permanent, but this works. Are you willing to spend 3 resources, 2 actions, and a card for the equivalent of 1 experience?
Yes.
Okay then.
I mean, I think you find yourself in different situations in the game, and you probably hold this towards the end of the game.
That's true.
You know, you're like, okay, we're gonna get across the finish line. Let me take 2 actions this turn to upgrade my X, Y, and Z.
And unlike like a Delve Too Deep, this has some icons on it, so if it's such a nail biter, you're like, there's no way I'm gonna get to play this card. It's not dead.
Yeah, and it's too defensive, so it's gonna go in pretty much. It's gonna be okay in pretty much anyone's deck.
Yeah, I think it's cool. I think my one other observation on it is that it immediately marks the checkbox, which could change what your customizable cards do mid-game, which is kind of cool.
I really like that.
Yeah, it's like suddenly your alchemical transmutation didn't heal horror yet, but now it does.
Yeah, you figured out an ingredient.
Not chemical distillation.
Distillation, yeah. Found a new element in the distill.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. Okay.
Yeah,
I got my wish granted.
Yeah, I mean, okay, this makes everything feel a little bit like. I wish we had read it first, because then like you could have that in the back of your mind. Like, well, we're not spending 8 experience, we're spending 6 experience and refining this thing a couple times.
That said, we were pretty lukewarm on the customizable cards for the most part as we went, and I'm not sure that this change is enough to change that, especially because I don't think that like this is expensive.
Sure.
And obviously it takes up slots in your deck and everything. It's not as good as the imaginary permanent that I had come up with in my head and then expected to find in the neutral cards.
We're not done with the neutral cards yet.
That's fair. Then what's next?
I will tell you. It's a oldie and a finey. It's Flashlight, but this time level 3.
It's Flashlight, but this time it costs you experience.
But that's the only difference. It's a 2-cost, 3 experience asset Flashlight. Item tool traded, takes up a hand slot, and the card was designed by the Council in Exile at Arkham Knights in 2020.
We saw one other card that was an upgrade of a like core set card that was designed this way.
Why?
Now I can't remember what it was.
Cool.
But go on.
All right. So it uses 4 supplies. So 1 more supply than level 0. As a reaction, when you perform a skill test while investigating or attempting to evade, spend 1 supply. This test gets -2 difficulty. When you are performing a skill test while investigating or attempting to evade.
When you perform. Yeah, when does this trigger exactly? Trigger? At the start?
When you perform.
So the original flashlight.
I see.
I read this and I thought the only difference was that it could evade now and had +1 supply. But the old flashlight had a printed action on it. This is combinable with everything else.
So this is like you use old keyring and you use flashlight and you drop the shroud by 4 and then you hit the test at difficulty 0 and you use all those difficulty 0 things.
Yep.
Fun.
Yep. So, and yeah, I assume that you have to use this before you're drawing the chaos token stuff, right? The trigger point is the start of the test.
Yep.
So it's not a lucky, but it is it is combinable with other effects.
With any other. So like you can do this with a fingerprint kit, so you're making sure you hit it and get those 2 extra clues. No, good. Really good.
I think that's where this... And it's funny because the Council in Exile surely didn't know that there was an upcoming box with this whole, like, when you reduce the difficulty of a test to 0 theme in Survivor.
Yeah.
I think that's where this goes, and I don't know that I would spend experience on Flashlight any other time.
You better believe it.
But they stumbled into designing a good card for that archetype.
Yep. So in your drop the skill difficulty to 0, this goes in.
Uh-huh.
And that's it.
Agreed. Yeah.
Great. Glad we found conciseness there.
So next is a permanent exceptional card that you don't have a copy of in front of you, so listen closely, because there's only one in the box. It is Soul Sanctification, and it's a level 3, so because it's exceptional, 6 experience cost, of course it's null cost, it's permanent, neutral ritual. It says, for every point of damage and or horror you heal in excess of an investigator's current damage or horror, place 1 resource on Soul Sanctification as an offering. This still counts as healing. And then, as a fast ability, spend 1 offering, you get +2 skill value for a test. Limit twice per test. Okay, so I was kind of a little surprised by how much in the Seeker cards we saw healing big chunks. Like events and things that heal large amounts. Because Vincent didn't really want to necessarily do that. He would like to heal many times instead of large amounts. But then this one, if you're overhealing, this one lets you convert that into skill test bumps.
Okay. Bad?
It's probably bad.
Seems bad.
I don't think that's a big enough payoff.
In Vincent and Carolyn, decent?
Yeah.
Because their main focus is healing.
I think when I play Vincent, because I'll be playing Vincent with the intent of playing all the fun new toys, I will buy this card.
Yeah.
But I don't think that, like, wasting your abilities by overhealing just to get a couple skill boosts is, like, very good.
Yeah, it feels bad. 6 experience is really steep for this card.
Yeah.
Alright. Well...
It's... I feel like it should be good. It feels like it should be good. It's an exceptional card that ties into a really specific mechanic that only a couple investigators care about. So it feels like it should be just so good for those investigators.
It seems fine for them.
And I think it's fine for them and bad for everyone else.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, the good news about it is for someone like Vincent and Carolyn, their stat line's pretty bad. So, like, that helps them be normal investigators and healing investigators.
I just thought of a thing. It says here... No, it says that this still counts as healing. So Carolyn sometimes is annoyed that she has the ability to heal horror and get the resources and stuff, but there's no horror on anyone. This lets you heal anyway. Right?
Yeah.
That seems good.
Yeah.
This lets you use whatever cards you put in Vincent's deck to give people that skill card to give out on the mend, even though they had no damage on them to heal.
Yeah.
Whereas normally you couldn't trigger those extra effects.
I thought, I was aware of this.
Well, I was not. I realized it mid sip of beer and almost did a spit take at my own brilliance. Okay.
Again, we're at the point of we're spending actions to do something that is like essentially doing no effect except getting skill boosts in the future.
Yes. You're right. But
you know what is fun is using your once per game ability to hack your arm off while you're fully healed and get 5 offerings on this card.
Just risk a little trauma.
Maybe a little trauma too.
Actually, I mean,
seems fun.
Yeah, offering your own arm to the soul sanctification ritual. I'd do it.
You would do again.
But you know what else is fun?
Tell me.
Crazy magical guns.
Like the hyperphysical shotcaster?
The same.
Wow.
Yeah.
It is not a level 4, a 4-costed asset with a wild icon.
It's a theoretical device. You didn't read its subtitle.
It is a theoretical
that's
device.
Fun. That's a fun subtitle.
Making a literal difference, metaphorically. Item, relic, weapon, firearm, traded. Customizable. Uses 4 ether?
Sure.
Either? If hyperphysical shotcaster has no ether on it, discard it.
Okay, it's not ether.
Ether.
I think it's ether. Or aether if you
yeah.
want. Yeah. Or even I've heard it said ether.
I've heard it both ways.
Never ether.
The right way and then yours, I've heard it both ways. Action, spend 1 ether. Resolve the manifestability of the hyperphysical shotcaster's current form.
Oh, damn, that sounds so good!
That sounds so cool!
I'm so excited to do this! It doesn't even do anything that I knew about yet, and I want to do this.
I will manifest the destiny all over this shit. Or you can use a fast action, exhaust hyperphysical shotcaster, change its form to one you have unlocked. Changed its form to one you have unlocked on its upgrade sheet.
This is Lola as a gun. It's gonna
does nothing.
It's gonna change roles. It does nothing. That's true. Okay, 2 things. Yeah, it's changing between roles and also does nothing. Brutal.
Oh my goodness. All right, let's figure out what the heck this thing can do.
All
right, so the shotcaster can be a rail shooter for 2 experience. Hyperphysical rail. Damn, this is a lot of words.
Yep.
Hyperphysical shotcaster has this form: manifest, fight. Fight with any skill. This attack deals +1 damage. Damn.
Wow. So right there, this is, I don't know flavorfully that the politician would have a theoretical supergun, but fight with any skill makes it great for Charlie, because suddenly he can like use his combat ones the first time and then use his other allies on another fight. That seems very good.
Yep. Second, the telescanner, 2 experience as well, has the new manifest investigate. Investigate with any skill. If you succeed, discover a clue from any revealed location instead of your location.
It can shoot smarts?
Theoretically.
Wait, sorry, what exactly is happening here? You're firing a gun and suddenly learning the secrets of the faraway...
Yeah, it's a magnet. It's just a really like powerful magnet. What is it? Detector. So you just like shoot it into the area. And it's like beep 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 beep. Oh, there's a little piece of evidence here.
But clues don't always even represent things.
Don't they?
Clues can represent the amount of coal you've shoveled into a steam engine.
Theoretically, so can this bullet.
Wow, this is an extremely theoretical.
Yeah, this is like
device.
A wild stretch of the imagination. All right, or you can do the translocator. Of
course.
That manifestability is an evade, which is evading with any skill, I assume. Yeah, before this... Oh, actually, sorry. Attempt to evade with any skill. Before or after this attempt, you may move that investigator or non-elite enemy at your location to a connecting location or vice versa.
So this time you aim the gun at yourself and it teleports
And it teleports you, yeah.
I'm in.
Yep. Or to the enemy and it teleports them. The reality collapser. These have all been 2 experience so far. Hyperphysical shotcaster has this form: manifest. Test any skill 3. If you succeed, discard from play a non-weakness treachery that is attached to an elite enemy that is not attached to an elite. I was like, that's gonna break the game, isn't it? Theoretically. That's fine.
Yeah, that seems a little niche.
Yeah. The Matter Weaver, another 2 experience. Shotcaster has this form, Manifest. Choose an asset in your hand and test any skill X, where X is the asset's cost, and if you succeed, play it. Cool, but
any asset. Charlie, we just talked about Charlie, so he's clearly on my mind, but he can fire allies out of this gun. He can pull the trigger and people come out.
Show up.
Yeah. His assistant fires out of the gun.
I can see it. Wow. Alright. Ethereal Link for 4 XP. The Shotcaster enters play with 2 additional ether.
Mm.
So up to 6. For 4 experience. Empowered Configuration. While using a Manifestability, you get +2 skill value.
For 4 checkboxes for that. That's pricey.
Another 4 experience.
Yeah. And this is unique, but you can have 2 in your deck, so you're getting the full, 2 copies upgraded for based on 1 card. This is possibly the most fun that I've ever had reading a card.
Yeah.
In this game. This is just so ridiculous and uses so many made up words and concepts and everything that
sure does.
This is really fun. This is a very fun
This
card.
is super fun, but is it good?
It might be. You're not gonna spend 10 experience buying all these forms, but if any one of these is interesting. At 2 experience, put 2 of these in your deck and have four uses of whether it's evading with any skill and then moving yourself or the enemy, or discovering a clue at any location, right? This is powerful stuff. And I'm not actually sure that spending a bunch of experience and buying a lot of these and then toggling the gun between the modes is that good. But I think you could choose 1 of these or 2 of these and it would be pretty solid.
I think it's a trap to choose more than 1 or 2.
I think maybe 2. Yeah.
Because the being component limited, being supply limited, makes every one of these worse the more you get them.
Yes. Yeah, because you just literally, you can only do so many things.
Yeah, you can only fire this gun 4 times, 8 if you get both copies out.
Yeah, and you can have it come into play with 2 additional ether for 4 experience.
That's true, but
right?
Yeah, that's pretty steep.
Which I think is the better high-end upgrade than 4 experience for +2 skill value on these.
Agree.
Right.
I think if you're firing this thing, you need to have the skills to do the thing. The issue is, I don't think rail shooter is ever one you take, right?
That just fights it. That just makes it an actual gun.
It makes it an actual gun with no combat boost and +1 damage.
Yeah, fight with any skill is interesting too. The neutral investigators of the world, right?
Or literally anyone who doesn't have a good solution for fighting.
Yeah.
So this is great in Seeker for fighting.
That's true. Yeah, this lets
your brains.
This lets Kimani at their 5 agility fight.
Yeah,
right?
no, definitely. Yeah. Kimani. Daisy. It's good for Daisy.
Everything's good for Daisy. You're right. This lets a 5 intellect Seeker fight
channel
easily well.
Your smart brains and you fight pretty well.
Yeah, you just and maybe you also buy the upgrade that lets you sometimes discard a treachery you would have trouble with or something, just as a extra utility or something. Yeah, I think
it's interesting.
It's decent.
It's the quintessential neutral card where it's very decent for everyone and can do very different things.
Yeah,
but it's not it's not super powerful.
Right, but I sure had fun.
I had a great time.
I had fun reading it.
No regrets.
Yeah.
All right.
That's all the neutral cards, and that leaves us with just basic weaknesses, which I'm gonna. So if you've seen our preview of one of these or any of the other, I think they were all previewed by different content creators. The basic weaknesses in this box are all class specific, so none of these can be played by Charlie.
Great.
Yeah. Which I mean, it depends on how you select your basic weaknesses, but to me this means that these will never get played. Already I have some 50 basic weaknesses, and what I generally do is I draw a random one from the pile, and then if it has something on it that means I can't play it, campaign mode only and I'm playing standalone, or the one that I draw out of the pile is an upgrade of of Doomed or something, then I just draw again. And I feel okay, so the odds of drawing each of these is already low, and then the odds of it matching my class is also low. So I think that these are as close to binder fodder as a basic weakness has ever been.
Yeah.
That said, there might be times, and probably our first Scarlet Keys campaign or our first campaign with the new cards, we will just be like, let's just all play with the class weaknesses.
Yeah.
And that'll be fun.
Yeah.
And that's something that you can do sometimes.
Yep.
So anyway, I have only seen one of these, the one that we previewed. So I am interested to see what did they dream up for like the class basic weaknesses.
I'm ready.
Starting with Lurker in the Dark, which is the Guardian investigator only basic weakness. It is an enemy, makes sense. It has 3 fight, 2 hit points, 1 evade, and it's a hunter. It spawns at any connecting location. It says, Lurker in the Dark can only be attacked or damaged using weapon assets or tactic events, and takes 1 fewer damage from each source. Oh, wow. Okay. So
that
this
2 hit points is really, like, likely 4.
2 hit points is, yeah, the equivalent of 4. Although, you can kill it in 1 3 damage
1
attack.
3, yep.
Yeah. Okay, this feels like something that Guardians actually can pretty easily dispatch.
I mean, I was thinking, like, Nate, because they specifically commented out tactics. And I was like, Nate can do 3 damage with a single event pretty easily, and just one-shot this thing.
Wow, they put this in the box with Carson, who would hate this.
Yeah, that's pretty rude.
This is brutal for Carson. Because if you're playing with Carson and, a Seeker and a Mystic who's using spells for their damage, there's no one to deal with this.
Wow.
Oh, poor Carson.
Yeah, Carson kind of got shafted.
Anyway, he's got a 1 out of 50 chance of drawing this weakness, so, like, but I guess if I'm playing Carson, then I am not going to agree to the, like, hey, let's all use the class basic weaknesses this campaign.
Yeah, not so much. You want to be, so far, I mean, I've only seen the one we spoiled and this one, and so far they're very much like the archetype of what this class is. You better be really good at the normal thing this class does.
The thing you're meant to do.
Yeah.
All right. What else we got?
I actually did peek that I'm like, I'm doing the Mystic and Survivor ones, which is just perfect.
Oh, yeah.
Your
favorites.
Mystic, Ectoplasmic Horror, another basic weakness enemy. It's monster and Geist traded, 2s across the board, 2 fight, 2 health, 2 agility. Hunter, the first time you reveal a Chaos token while attacking or attempting to evade Ectoplasmic Horror, reveal an additional token for each empty arcane slot you have.
Ooh.
Boy, does that really mess with the archetype of, let me have 5 arcane slots.
Yeah, didn't we get a bunch of Mystic cards in this box that reward you for having empty arcane slots, and then this punishes that?
Yep.
Is that the theme here, is that every one of these is punishing the exact investigator
thing?
Jeez.
Wow.
That's brutal.
Whew. That's that's very nasty. Often I feel like this will be at least 1 extra token draw, even in a normal Mystic.
Yeah.
I mean, occasionally you'll have all your arcane slots filled, but just like depending on timing. Yeah, definitely really brutal for this archetype of, shifting out your arcane slots, blowing them up, and having a bunch of them.
And I'll be honest, though, I wasn't on that video, but I didn't get it. I didn't get why you'd bother with all that.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like the payoff was big enough.
I mean,
to be like, I'm going to do a lot of not playing assets as a Mystic.
Well, no, it wasn't so much like you didn't want arcane slots, but it's like you had a ton of arcane slots. So you had tons of spells out, and as like a big bomb, in fact, you could blow them all up.
That's true.
Getting rid of Doom on the table, and then send a lot of damage out.
Yeah. Okay.
So there were some cool things, but yeah, in general.
If you're not playing that specific archetype, though, this seems pretty easy on Mystic. Like, Mystics generally have their arcane slots filled.
Yeah, I mean, depending on timing, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. Like, for 2 slots, and like the worst case scenario is usually it hits for 1 or 2 additional Chaos tokens.
Yeah.
But if you're playing that archetype, it hits really hard.
Yeah, I think so far that's been the theme on the 2 weaknesses we've looked at. It's like, as long as you're playing, like, a basic-ass Corset-style version of that class, you're good.
Yeah. But if you're doing this specific Scarlet Keys, I'm gonna F you.
Yep. So, Seeker investigators can get caught in a quantum paradox, which is interestingly, it's not a treachery, it's a 0-cost event.
Oh?
That's paradox traded. And it says, as an additional cost to play Quantum Paradox, you must choose and discard 4 other cards from your hand. And then if Quantum Paradox is in your hand at the end of your turn, reveal it and take 1 horror.
Okay.
I think I like this.
I like that too.
Yeah.
Seekers usually have an abundance of cards, so I feel like it won't be awful.
Right, but also, unlike the other ones that feel like they only punish certain playstyles, this one is still bad for everyone.
Everyone.
Yeah, no one wants to discard 4 cards.
No.
So, Yeah, I guess I don't have much else to say about it other than I think this is a good design for Secret Weakness.
Yeah. I mean, there are occasionally, like, if you're playing big hand, whatever decks, like, sometimes you're just like, I have, like, 15 cards in my hand at the end of the turn. I'm going to have to discard some anyway. Might as well play this.
Right.
Yeah, I'd agree. All right, and I'm just following and copying you each time because I have another event weakness here.
Oh.
It's called Underprepared, and its art is amazing. It's a shot of a gun, 2 bullets in his left hand, and 3 enemies in front of him. 3 deep ones in front of him.
Oh,
specifically.
That is good.
Yeah. It's like actually a comedy piece right here. It's
a point of view piece.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah. You're looking down. You have your open, revolver, 2 shells in your hand. You're like, shit. They have 3 of these guys. All right, so it is a survivor investigator only.
Oh, that's a very survivor situation.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you throw the gun with the last one, and
then you're fine.
You're fine. All right, so it's a blunder, which is my favorite trait of any weaknesses. Play only if Underprepared is the only card in your hand, and you have exactly 1 resource in your resource pool. So it's a 1-cost event. So you have to only card in hand and 1 cost.
Wow.
Yeah, that's really specific. And while Underprepared is in your hand, each card you commit to a skill test is considered to have 1 fewer matching skill icon.
Oh. Well. Okay, so at least that seems like the hardest, like compared to just discard 4 cards. That seems harder to get rid of.
But the
negative is not going to kill you.
Yeah, but right? if Silas gets this, he like offs himself. He starts over the campaign.
He heads to the resign location.
Yeah. Like, this is such a bad weakness for those survivors who really love skill play.
Yeah. Damn, Doom play and skill play. We're really learning a lot here.
Yeah. Getting a little inside peek into my life.
Alright, well, our very last card of the Scarlet Keys box is the weakness we previewed in the pool some weeks ago. Pay Your Due. This is another event. So they're all enemies or events.
Yeah, interesting.
No standard treacheries.
Yeah.
This one costs 10 resources.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it's a rogue investigator only. It's a pact. And it says, as an additional cost to play Pay Your Due, you may spend any number of additional actions. Reduce its cost by 5 for each additional action spent. And then forced, if Pay Your Due is in your hand at the end of your turn, reveal it and take 1 damage. So this is, if you don't want to pay at least 5 resources, this is a triple action to clear. It's like Chronophobia. It's a horror per round until you spend 3 actions to clear it.
Yeah, pretty brutal.
With the trade-off that you have the opportunity to spend 5 resources per action you want to save.
Yep.
I think this one's rough.
That one's, like, so all of them I feel like are rough. I think this one is incredibly bad. It's because it is like, I feel like there's kind of this general feeling of, every basic weakness is 2 actions plus or minus a little.
Yeah.
And this one is just clearly not.
Yeah.
This one is clearly, like, definitively, this is 3 actions.
Well, I mean, it is...
Again, it's not like you're going to take 3 actions each way, but, like, this is 3 actions.
It's a little bit better than if it had just said 3 actions to clear, because it offers you the opportunity to buy your way out. But
100%.
If you're not playing a big money rogue, you're just screwed. You just don't have the money, and it's 3 actions. And if you do have a big money rogue, no, you're not anymore.
Yeah. Right? You are now destitute. You are a house poor rogue again.
Oh, too real, Kyle.
Sorry.
So it seems brutal for them too. Yeah, we thought this was brutal when we previewed it, and now even in the context of these other ones, I think this is probably the most brutal.
Unless you're Carson and you get your weakness.
And then it takes damage. Did I even read the damage part, or did we stop and talk about it?
No.
Okay. Yeah, so it deals you with damage each turn. Like, that is the one upside of these cards, is that if you draw them late in the game or have a Vincent on your team or something, like maybe you just power through the damage. You just tank it.
And it's not direct, right?
It's not direct.
So that's better than whatever the one is that's direct damage at the end, 2 to clear.
That's true. So, but all in all, not a weakness I would be happy to have.
No, definitely not.
Unlike all the weaknesses I am happy to have. But still.
I mean, I don't know. Kleptomania is a fun weakness.
That's true. I do like... I am a fan of being a kleptomaniac.
Yeah, just stealing from your other friends. Yeah, no, it's nice.
Okay, we've done it. We've read every word in the box. We've read to that camera. And you've clearly thoroughly thought through and processed everything.
Mm-hmm.
What are your final, conclusive, can't possibly be affected by any future conversations or gameplay thoughts on the Scarlet Keys player cards?
Well, I've only done some of the videos, but what I have done, Charlie Kane seems really fun.
Mm-hmm.
Evidence and clue dropping combo seems really fun. Really excited to see something fun in Seeker, because I just don't play Seekers because they're not fun. That's not entirely true. Like, Mandy was fun, I enjoyed her.
It's true.
Amanda's fun, I enjoyed her. But yeah, no, I've really struggled with Seekers just being very good and boring.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
So very excited for a bad, fun Seeker play. That's about all the things I have. I was a little underwhelmed with Survivor and Mystic, which were the two main classes I reviewed, and I guess now happy with Seeker.
I'm pretty underwhelmed by the box as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we got a lot of cards that kind of do the things we can already do a little differently.
Mm-hmm.
I do like that each class had a new investigator and some things to support that new investigator. Hit or miss. Like, I didn't actually feel like the red cards tied into Daryl very much. More of the yellow cards did.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But then they also each kind of, or many of the classes kind of offered a new thing. Like, Survivor had the reduced difficulty to 0,
mm-hmm.
dropping clues for Seeker, caring about how many slots you have in Mystic. Like, I thought that was kind of cool that we got a new archetype brought in a lot of the classes. But yeah, I saw a lot of cards that were not super earth-shattering to read. And then I think that the whole flagship, the exciting thing about this box, the customizable cards, it kind of whiffed.
Yeah.
I don't know. I hope that I am wrong when I try them, because they're the new hotness. I'm still going to put them in decks and try them out. But just the extra text and complexity that they add to the game for what seems like mostly quite mediocre cards,
mm-hmm.
I'm just not coming away with a positive first impression of them.
I'm wondering, this is totally like analytical and bias shifty.
Uh-huh.
I'm wondering if, because we read them at the end of the the way that these decks are ordered is from level 0s through the highest experiences possible into customizable. So we go from level 5
we come off of the exciting splashy cards into customizable
cards, which are at their core level 0 cards.
That's possible.
I know I'm making an excuse
That's
now,
possible.
But there might be a little bit of something there. I think, again, similarly, we're looking at the check boxes as experience where there clearly aren't. They're divided experience against 2 cards, and there are other ways, as we just discovered in neutrals, to get checked boxes ticked.
Right.
So,
away. At great expense.
Yeah. Couple actions and 3 resources.
And a card.
Yeah.
So I don't want to end on too dour a note. I am so excited for the Scarlet Keys campaign when it comes out. Like, it seems like this is the Edge of the Earth. Obviously did some things that the old release model of 8 packs in a row couldn't have done.
Mm-hmm.
But my understanding is this is the first one that was designed from the ground up with that in mind.
Yeah.
And so that's why it is a whole campaign of globetrotting and doing things in the order you want to, in a way that I'm really excited to see what they do. And I know that Maxine and the other developers have been saying they think it's the best work they've ever done. Yeah. And at this point where we have thousands of player cards, I think in general that is what I tend to be a little more excited for, is the new campaign than the new player cards. So I'm still very stoked for what Arkham is bringing here in 2022. But it's not coming as much from this side of the cycle.
Yeah, and I think that's fine. I would agree, and I will say one more thing. What my hope is, so I thought Edge of the Earth was very good. I didn't think it was the best campaign ever, but I thought it was very good. I literally cried at the campaign when one of my teammates died, and the text that revolved around them dying. I was just that is incredible. Because you grow close to the characters, and then the other characters are close to each other. Very, very cool.
It is.
Interesting. I'm hoping that the Edge of the Earth is Dunwich to the Scarlet Keys Carcosa. That is my hope. Because I feel like it could
Where it's just a new level of storytelling and mechanics and
exactly.
stuff.
Because again, like Dunwich was created before the like release model was finalized.
That's true. Yeah.
You know, it was created when the core set was
not even
out.
Yeah,
before it was out, exactly. So there's that room. There is that analogous, comparison to be made.
Those are some high hopes.
It's pretty high hopes.
Yeah.
But we'll see if they deliver.
Well, that does it.
We did it.
For our marathon. You're watching this 6 weeks after we recorded it, as we put these videos out each week for the, that's what I'll be working on for the holidays.
I'll be cooking, he'll be editing.
Yep, sounds like a plan. But thank you for watching. If you have not yet subscribed to Optimal Play and joined us in the comments, joined us on Twitch at twitch.tv/optimalplay, which we actually are streaming live as we record this. So hi live viewers.
Hello.
Follow us there. We really appreciate it, and we appreciate you joining us as we turn on cameras and shoot the shit, which is more or less
that's what we do here.
What we'd be doing with the cameras are not on. So I'm glad that people are enjoying it. Let's end on, why don't you rate the Scarlet Keys box on a scale of Lola to normal investigator?
It is 3? No, it was good. It was fine.
So, normal investigator?
Normal investigator.
All right.
Like a C tier normal investigator.
Sure. So like a
Joe Diamond.
I was gonna say Ash Can Pete.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Maybe a little bit better than Ash Can. Maybe a little bit more exciting than Ash Can.
Like a Min.
Almost. You're getting closer.
Not there. Okay. Well, we'll keep working on this. Until next time, be optimal.